Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Life. Now, tonight we talk to Imani Ndaba, who's a trailblazing entrepreneur and the mastermind behind the Inside Out Girls campaign. Now, we are absolutely thrilled to have Imani on our show today to share the details of the highly anticipated sixth How-To-Her Brunch, which is an event tailored for ambitious women who are seeking to understand the intricacies of branding. And as a champion for female driven businesses, Imani has undoubtedly turned heads and caught the attention of countless aspiring entrepreneurs. Thank you so much, Imani, for joining us on Prime Life, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
It's a definite pleasure. Now, what initially inspired you to create the How to Her brunch?
Well, what inspired us to create the branch is we had noticed that there isn't enough platforms for young women starting businesses, and we wanted to ensure that there's a space where they can come for free and get the tools that they need to start their business. I myself had started a business the year before the branch, and I struggled with so many things, and I was very happy to be a part of the Inside Out Girls campaign, creating a space where young women can come and learn about business. So that's what inspired us.
That's amazing. Now, how has the event evolved over the years?
The event has evolved significantly just because it keeps on succeeding every year. That itself makes it evolve every time. Our topics have evolved extensionally and they go deeper into business every year, as well as the capacity. We've had to change our venue 4 times because of space, and I think that's so incredible.
That's great news. Now, this is the sixth edition, which is now focused on branding for impact. Can you elaborate on the importance of branding in today's competitive business landscape?
Branding is so important. It's one of the bases of business, and it's so important only because you need to be able to set yourself apart, or rather your business apart from other businesses in the market. And the best way to do that is through branding. And so that's why it's so important in business.
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And can you take us through like on the How to Her brunch event? How does it look like? What kind of atmosphere can people expect? Because I've also noticed that it's also free, but however, you need to register for you to attend. Tell us a little bit more about the atmosphere, what people can expect, what is the feeling like.
The brunch is one of the most exciting things for me personally every year because the atmosphere is so amazing. All the women that come in, they want to support each other. They want to learn from each other. So you'll find a lot of women networking, enjoying each other's space, teaching each other about business tricks, communicating with each other. You know, if one person is a photographer and one person is starting up a business, then they start connecting. And just being in that environment is very inspiring, especially as an aspiring entrepreneur. You
Mm,
start to see that the things that you're dealing with, other women are also dealing with, and you can
mm,
find ways to support each other. So it's just amazing. In terms of the itinerary, what we do is we have registration early in the day. So even if you haven't registered, we do have some time for you to register at 12 p.m. when the event starts. Then after that, we have an opening. After our opening, we have our first speaker, and then we have our panels. But we also have a poet and a singer who come in. Last time we had a violinist, just to break the ice and ensure that the ladies still have fun. Then we also have a speed networking session. This is when most of the ladies will connect, learn from each other, and mostly connect though, yes.
mm. So it's all about networking and connecting, but most importantly, also just growing as entrepreneurs. That's brilliant.
Mm.
Now, in your experience working with small female businesses, what are some common branding mistakes that you have observed and how can they be avoided?
I think some common branding mistakes that a lot of young women in business make, myself included, would have to be consistency, having a brand that's consistent, and also having a brand that is clear. So sometimes you're starting a business, you yourself are not sure what your brand is. And so when you start to put it out there, you don't necessarily put out a clear and consistent brand. And I think that tends to drive potential customers away. So I think it's very important to have a consistent and clear brand image.
Mm, that's amazing. And I think also we're living in an era where everybody is trying to build their brands. I mean, we've got social media influencers, we've got entrepreneurs, people are launching businesses. Entrepreneurs are really waking up, and we have a lot of entrepreneurs in today's day and age. Given also our economic state, people have realized that becoming entrepreneurs and business people is actually the solution to a lot of problems, because just having a job is not something that can sustain you. Now, what do you think is the secret sauce to creating a strong, memorable brand identity?
I think the secret sauce to creating a strong brand identity is authenticity. I say authenticity only because, like I mentioned, your brand needs to be clear and consistent, and it would be very difficult to keep a clear and consistent brand if you're not being authentic to your brand. Also, there's 7 billion people in the world. So if you're being authentic to yourself, you're going to be authentic to a certain niche of people. And if you can cultivate that niche through your authenticity and they can relate to your brand and what your brand does, because we're living in an age where people don't just want to buy from a space or go to a space. They want to connect with it. They want to have a story with it. And so I think that authenticity is very important. And I think you'll see even with our speaker lineup, a lot of them are so authentic to their brands, which is why we brought them on board. And we really believe that a lot of ladies are going to leave knowing that authenticity is key. So I think that's for me the first and most important thing.
Mm, that is beautiful there. Now, for those who are interested in attending, I don't think we mentioned the location. Maybe please share that with our viewers, and also just let us know how people can get connected in terms of your branches that you host or any future events.
All right. Thank you so much. So essentially, the brunch is being hosted at La Parada Olivedale, which is in North Riding, Randburg. It starts at 12 p.m. It ends at 4 p.m. The event is free, but it would be amazing if you can register so that we can prepare for you. And what are the details? It's free. Starts at 12, ends at 4 p.m. Bring your notebook so that you're prepared. And if you need to reach us, you can find us at hello at insideoutgirlscampaign.org, or you can email us at hello at insideoutgirlscampaign.org, or you can find us on all social media platforms at Inside Out Girls Campaign. And you're also welcome to reach out to us on WhatsApp. That is 068 204 4912.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And now, before we let you go, what's the one key takeaway that you hope attendees will take away with them after the brunch?
Like I mentioned, authenticity, but to dive bigger into that rather, I think it's so important for the ladies to realize how important branding is, and not just branding, but branding for impact, to ensure that you're constantly growing and building your business up, and not just doing that, but building an audience of consumers that keep on coming back and that share the word of your business. So ultimately, just knowing that branding is important in terms of scaling for business.
Mm, that's beautiful. Now, Imani, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing,
Thank you
the
for having
event,
me.
details with us. And we really wish you the best in terms of the event outcome, but also just for future adventures that you might get into. Also, your future events. We wish you nothing but the best. So, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate the platform and we hope to have you guys there as well.
Thank you so much for the invite. We'll definitely try to make it. And thank you so much for all the details that you've provided.
No problem. Bye.
Thank you. Viewers at home, that was a beautiful conversation that I just had with Imani Ndaba on her How-To-Her Brunch that's going to be happening Saturday, 24th of May. It's going to be happening from 12 noon till 3 p.m. at La Parada Olivedale Corner. The entrance is free, however, you need to register. But she did mention that if you are unable to register, you can actually register when you arrive there at 12 p.m. So make sure that you actually attend this. This is going to be very beneficial for you if you are intending on building your brand, and also just understanding the ins and outs of business and entrepreneurship, and also just to network. But without wasting any time, let's go to a quick ad break. We'll see you right after this.